Prince William cannot stand Meghan Markle. Just trust me on this. I've reported this story for a long time. This isn't just mild dislike. It is all-out hatred. And that's why, even though people are going totally crazy about the fact the future king will appear on Clarkson's farm, the hit Amazon show, of course, starring Jeremy Clarkson, one of Meghan Markle's sworn enemies, is purposeful. He absolutely wants to do it because he cannot stand this woman. So Nellie posted on this, Jeremy Clarkson, I dream of Meghan Markle being dragged through the streets with feces thrown at her. Prince William, hi Jeremy, big fan of yours. Can I be at your show? Well, yes. Yes, that is what he's doing. He knows the repercussions. He wants to be connected publicly with Jeremy Clarkson, just like Camilla, the Queen, has been connected with Jeremy Clarkson. A reminder, by the way, that the Clarkson column that appeared in The Sun and caused a hysterical reaction at the time, with ITV and Amazon distancing themselves from the great man, was a joke. It was facetious. It was tongue-in-cheek. That's how he writes, but I will read it out to you so you have the full concept. He said, at night, I am unable to sleep as I lie there, grinning at the thought of all the things I'd like to do to her. I hate her on a cellular level. He then went on to describe a scenario inspired by the Game of Thrones series, imagining Meghan being publicly humiliated, writing, I dream of the day when she is paraded naked through the streets of every town in Britain while the crowds chant shame and throw excrement at her. Now, of course, if that was written by a more serious columnist and people took it literally, then maybe it would be fair enough for there to be that outrage. But actually, everyone knows Clarkson's shtick, and it was a confected outrage. I do note, by the way, despite saying they would, neither ITV or Amazon have sacked him. So, yes, what Prince William is doing is deliberate. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, joins me now. Angela, there has been outrage about this. I mean, Fem Gra wrote on X, why is Prince William teaming up with a man who publicly fantasized about Meghan Sussex's humiliation? So the fact that this person calls her Meghan Sussex, I think immediately shows where her loyalties lie, because I think that's ludicrous. But do you think he's done anything wrong here?
Prince William, future King of England, just made a move that is raising eyebrows everywhere. He's teaming up with Jeremy Clarkson, one of Meghan Markle's biggest critics. And let's be honest, he didn't do this by accident. Now, in case you forgot, Jeremy Clarkson made headlines for writing a fiery column about Meghan Markle, sparking global outrage. But despite the backlash, William is publicly aligning himself with Clarkson. What does that tell you?
No, I don't actually. And I think that he's entitled to join his farm, and that's what he wanted to do just for one occasion. And he wanted to find out as well what the mental health is like of the farmers, because some of them are really, really struggling at the moment. So why on earth should he care two hoots about Meghan? The fact is, Meghan has been so rude to so many people, or she's covered it and let Harry do it instead, but she's the one who's got it going. And I think it doesn't make a difference at all. I mean, she almost doesn't appear to Prince William. And I think that's fine, because she's also destroyed his brother. I think that he thinks that. You probably think that. And she's brought out all the worst things in him. So if he wants to join this extraordinary farm that he has, then why shouldn't he? Simple.
Well, I actually agree, Angela. And the thing is, right, Jeremy Clarkson is an equal opportunity slagger offer of the royals. Do you remember this, right? When Prince William hugged Mike Tyndall, I think it was after a polo event, and Jeremy Clarkson mocked them for it, right? Because he's a bloke, and he said, oh, why are the two royal men hugging? They shouldn't be doing that. Now, there wasn't big outrage over that, was there? There was only outrage over the Meghan Markle thing.
Yeah, because she's got all those people who would now call her Sussex, herself Sussex. So you know immediately where they come from and who they like. But I think he's not the most delightful man to be with, and he doesn't pretend to be. He can be quite rude and say what he thinks. Sometimes he says it without even checking in his head what he's doing. But that's him. If you don't like him, stay away. If somebody does like him, they go to him. But I don't think for a second they should consider what Meghan would like and how he's been to Meghan.
That he's a true original. And the thing about Jeremy Clarkson, Angela, is that he has been absolutely incredible standing up for the rights of British farmers. And Clarkson's farm has actually probably raised more awareness of the plight of farmers and how difficult the job is than anything else in modern history. And I think farmers are incredible. And I think the wokerati, which is led by people like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, have been trying to destroy farmers because all of the climate change hysteria, which we know Harry and Meghan promote, even though they catch private jets themselves to the biggest hypocrites in the world, is destroying farmers. So good on William for doing that. But Angela, can we just take a moment to, I guess, contextualize why William does have a hatred for Meghan? Because she has torn his family apart. And after doing that, she didn't think that was enough. She then wanted to destroy the reputation of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She released, via Prince Harry's spare, private messages sent between the Duchess and the Princess. I mean, come on. Harry and Meghan have stooped to lows in regards to William and Catherine that were previously unthinkable, especially, by the way, given the way that William stood up for Harry and stood by Harry despite his reservations over every scandal. The Nazi scandal, the Naked in Vegas scandal, the works.
This is a statement. This is about more than just farming. This is about where William stands in the royal family's ongoing battle with Meghan and Harry. Remember when Clarkson wrote that controversial piece about Meghan? He later apologized, but let's be real, he's never actually backed down from his views. And now William is standing right next to him, essentially giving him royal approval. If that's not a message, I don't know what is. Let's be real here. Prince William despises Meghan Markle. And that's not just speculation. Dan Wooten himself has said that this isn't just mild dislike. It's full-blown hatred. And why?
He's looked after Harry since he was a little baby. I mean, he felt very grown up. He's a responsible person. He's been that since William was a child. And he's wanted to save Harry or help Harry all the time. And this is what he's got. And I think as well that, he adores his wife. And it's more painful if someone attacks your wife or your husband than if it's you. You can take it yourself often. But if you say something to your wife, and Catherine has worked very hard and she's fitted in brilliantly and she's given up a lot of the things that you have to give up if you're a princess in the royal family. And I think that it's beyond words, actually. It's absolutely disgusting. So he's very annoyed. She goes for the negative, Meghan, as we know, for a long time now. And so why on earth should she be counted in anything?
I know. And the thing is, Angela, there will be a lot of people who are saying, oh, William didn't know what he was doing. But he did know what he was doing. He's not trying to hide his hatred of Meghan Markle. And that's probably not what the royal rota will say, but I'm just stating the truth because that's what I do here. Now, can we talk about... Oh, sorry.
I think the word hate might not be absolutely right. I think he sort of doesn't want anything to do with her, doesn't care about her, is not interested in her one bit. I don't know that he's a hating person. But what he wants is that I don't want anything to do with her. And I think that's along the same lines, but it doesn't sound as bad. And I think...
No, I do know what you're saying, Angela. And I guess maybe how I would phrase it is that he hates what she has done to the royal family. He hates what she has done to her brother. Let me put it that way, rather than saying he hates the
Sorry to
human
change
himself.
that.
No. I do think that is a better way of putting it, actually, because you're right. William isn't really a hateful person, but he does hate her actions, absolutely. Now, can we talk about Meghan's scam jam? Because, if you wanted to actually buy some good jam, I'd probably buy the Diddley Squat Farm strawberry jam, actually, Angela, because, that's made on the farm and it's a genuine product. Meghan has now finally revealed how her jam is really made. And of course, not what she promised, lovingly at home. Let's have a look, Angela. Just normal factory, right? So she can try and say that it's all lovingly prepared, but very clearly, this is a mass-produced product.
I'm not entirely sure that she did this before or after somebody put a post on Instagram to say that the jam is made in a factory and the workers do the same as they do with any other jam, and everything else goes on the supermarket shelves. So maybe she very quickly came up with the film, but actually this is what it is. So what might be sold on the shelves, so ordinary people might be, say, £2.50. And if Meghan's going to sell them with all this fancy doodling, they could end up with, 20 quid. So I don't trust that for 1 minute.
Because Meghan has done everything possible to attack and undermine the royal family. William watched as Meghan and Harry trashed the monarchy on Oprah, painted the royals as villains in their Netflix documentary, and published a tell-all book that threw his own family under the bus. And now he's making it very clear which side he's on. By teaming up with Clarkson, William is saying loud and clear, he does not support Meghan Markle and he's not afraid to show it.
No, indeed, Angela, neither do I. We also have this new cupcake video. You want to have a look at this too?
With pink.
Yeah, what do you think, Angela? I mean, people are saying, I mean, again, I'm not good in the kitchen, but people are saying this is all very basic too.
They look like long sausages, don't they, really? And very unpleasant. So,
but the grift goes on. The grift goes on.
Yes, it is. I mean, the thing is to pretend that she can cook. She can't. She says she can't bake. Those are things you bake. So either she didn't do it or she's made a mess of it. And so she doesn't know whether she's coming or going or how to sort of let herself be known to do something or not to do something. I mean, it doesn't matter if she doesn't cook it, but she's sort of half in, half out, as she wants to be with being royal, half in, half out. She doesn't know quite who she is. She is stuck. She didn't know how to behave. And it goes from the royal family to, well, they look like sausages.
Which is certainly
you're making me laugh.
It's not a pleasant thought, is it?
No, it isn't.
I mean, this is the thing. I find all of her food, Angela, genuinely so unappealing to look at. I mean, look, of course I will taste the scam jam. I think I'm a good judge of jam, and I will taste it. I'll give it a go. But it all looks so unappealing. It's like the banana split with Gwyneth Paltrow looked so unappealing as well. I don't think the food ever looks particularly good. And the social media strategy is just a total mess, like a complete mess. If you look at the grid, right? So, for example, this is the grid here. If we just take this shot of as ever, and all of it. I mean, I actually was reading from a food photographer who just said all of that just is a mess. It's a mess of a brand, and I have to agree. But look, Angela, since you've been,
it's a bit like her clothes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They're always a mess. They might be expensive, but she's actually a messy person.
Angela, since you've been here last, one of the biggest scandals ever involving Prince Harry has broken. He is now no longer part of the Centre Bali charity, which he founded in 2006 as a tribute to his late mother, the Princess of Wales, Princess Diana. Of course, the only other charity he founded was the Invictus Games. So this is a huge blow to Harry. Queer Lips of Truth posted in this saying Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are in serious crisis mode tonight. The expose on Centre Barley is very serious. It all focuses, Angela, on Harry's fallout with this woman, Sophie Chandoka. And you'll remember she is the woman, and I think we should have a look at this actually again, Angela. She is the woman that Meghan Markle publicly humiliated.
This move isn't just about Clarkson. It's about William choosing his allies. He's showing that he's not here to appease Meghan, and he's certainly not interested in reconciling with Harry on Meghan's terms. This is royal politics at its finest, folks. Of course, the backlash has been instant. Meghan's fans are in full meltdown mode on social media. They're calling William's decision tone-deaf and problematic. One user even wrote, "Why is Prince William teaming up with a man who publicly fantasized about Meghan's humiliation?" Well, the answer is simple, because William does not care about their outrage.
And of course, you know, Sophie Chandoka, a very accomplished woman, didn't like being embarrassed in that way. Her statement was utterly, utterly scathing of the charity founder, Prince Harry. She said, "There are people in this world who behave as though they are above the law and mistreat people and then play the victim card and use the very press they disdain to harm people who have the courage to challenge their conduct. Beneath all the victim narrative and fiction that has been syndicated to press is the story of a woman, me, who dared to blow the whistle about issues of poor governance, weak executive management, abuse of power, bullying, harassment, misogyny, misogynar, and the cover-up that ensued." But of course, Angela, there are two sides of the story. You are Prince Harry's biographer. You followed him for well over a year, and you know about this charity. So what is really going on?
Well, let me start at the beginning, which people often haven't said. It was Prince Charles who was trying desperately to find something for Harry to do in his year off after school. And he suggested it to him that he went there to Africa, and he was with children who hadn't got parents because they'd died because of AIDS, and if he would like to do that. So he wasn't sure, but he went. And that was the change of his life then, because he absolutely adored it. He played with the children. And I don't think you've often seen a boy of 15 or 16 who would sit and hold a very small baby who didn't look well at all for maybe hours on end. I mean, he was very good at that, very patient, very caring. And the kids all loved him because he would play football with them. And there was one little boy, aged 4, who adored Harry. And Harry bought him some Wellingtons, and he went to bed wearing them. He wouldn't actually take them off. And he and Harry became friends. And Harry invited him over to the UK, and he was at Harry and Meghan's wedding. So there were people there who he really loved. So I think the attack on him has to be looked at carefully. And I saw in the Times, really, that Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, who was a trustee for Prince Harry African Charity nearly 20 years, and she, a very highly regarded woman, said that it was actually not Harry's fault. It was Dr. Chanduka's fault. She's the one we saw at the polo thing. And she was impossible to work for. And so they all left. And then Harry left later with his friend who started it up with him, Prince Isiso. And so she's now taking them to court to go back. So it's a terrible mess, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure I believe the Times, but it's quite interesting. She, Baroness Chalker, she was a Conservative MP for 20 years, an African minister for 8 years. So she does know what she's talking about. So I think all this needs to hang around for a bit until we really know what happens. But I'm not surprised he's absolutely devastated, because I think he feels probably devastated that Meghan wants him less and less in the spotlight, that she can get on without him, that she's saying she wants to be a billionaire on her own. It's nice. And that he has felt that he'd done very well there. And he did, because the children had no family, no parents, and he could give them lots of love. He did actually do that. And he told me how much he loves it. And he had no need to do that. And the things he said and the people he did. And he also did, he thought he'd learned to do lots of odd jobs, building fences and cooking dinners and washing everything up for people. I don't think he would say that or do that unless that was true. So I think we have to wait. But he is obviously very, very shocked by it.
And let's be honest, should he? The same people outraged over Clarkson's comments had no problem when Meghan accused the royal family of racism without evidence. The same people attacking William now were silent when Harry threw his own brother under the bus for book sales. The hypocrisy is off the charts. But here's the thing, William isn't backing down. He's standing firm just like his grandmother Queen Elizabeth did in times of controversy. He's making it clear that he's not here to play Meghan and Harry's victimhood game. And honestly, that's why people respect him.
Angela, you are very shocked and disgusted, though, by the way that Meghan Markle treated Dr. Chandoka at the Centre Bali Polo Cup, aren't you? And it's, I think, important to remember, too. Remember, they used that event to film for the polo show on Netflix. So did Netflix give money to Centre Bali, for example? I hope so.
No, the polling game provided money for that, and that's what they mainly did. Him and William sometimes made money via polo matches. But Meghan, if you look at that, she wasn't involved at all, nothing. But she wanted to hang on to the award like nobody's business. Now, this is one of those questions which I've said several thousand times. Who on earth do you think you are? And to do that to a woman, even if she didn't know who she was, but I doubt that, but she was just determined that she has to be in the middle. We saw that in Los Angeles, didn't we, with all the fires? Never mind the fires, I have to stand in the middle where the picture's being taken. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And this is a very accomplished woman, and she didn't like it. Now, Angela, growing concerns about King Charles after he was rushed to hospital yesterday afternoon. The palace, as they do, tried to play this down, although they embargoed the announcement until 9 p.m. last night. But Jenny Bond, the former BBC royal editor, appeared on GB News today, and her comments seem to suggest that Charles's health is in a bad way.
I really do feel for William. I mean, everyone gets worried about their dad when they're ill. He's had, as he says, a brutal year with not only his father's illness, but obviously Catherine's illness as well. Everyone might get worried about their dad. With William, the inevitable death of his father is going to completely change William's life. It's going to upend it. So that's a whole different ball game. So I'm sure he must be more concerned for himself and for his father than perhaps everyone else. But I suppose we should be somewhat reassured that William didn't come racing to his father's bedside.
Yeah, that is a good sign.
And I mean, neither did Queen Camilla, Angela, because we can look here. She was at an ITV event celebrating 70 years of the British broadcaster, and there she was at one of their dramas, and then she met with some of their daytime stars like Lorraine Kelly, Dermot O'Leary and Christine Lampard. So if it had been an emergency situation, you would have imagined she wouldn't have gone ahead with that event. However, I think it's just a reminder to all that King Charles is still undergoing this very, very difficult treatment for cancer which seems to be staying with him.
Let's take a step back, because this is bigger than just Meghan Markle. This is about Prince William stepping into his role as the future King of England. He's no longer the reserved prince staying quiet in the shadows. He's making bold moves, taking a stand and showing the world exactly who he is. First, he cuts off ties with Harry. Then he strengthens his bond with Queen Camilla and King Charles. Now he's aligning himself with a media personality who isn't afraid to speak his mind. William is building his own circle of allies, separate from the drama that Harry and Meghan bring. And honestly, this might just be the smartest move he's made yet. He's proving that he's not going to be bullied by social media outrage. He's not going to bow down to Hollywood elites. He's standing firm in his duty to the crown. And that's what people want in a future king.
That's quite common, actually. I have 3 friends who have been on treatment for years, and what they can do now is actually give you the treatment that keeps you going. You always need it. You have to have it. Maybe like all sorts of things you don't want to have, but it does keep you going. And it doesn't mean it's going to kill you. It doesn't mean you're well, but it's something that they can manage for you. And I think that seems to be what the king is having. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I know others who have had that. I don't think he would be out in a car. I've got the picture here today, which is very quick. But the big deal is that Queen Camilla has to try very, very hard to stop him working, because he is absolutely wants to work all the time. And the more people he meets and the more people he understands and talks to, the happier he is. But you have to be careful. And so he is cancelled for today. He cancelled things for the week. But they do say that they can do the trip to Italy in just under 2 weeks. Now, I think that's just to make us feel okay, because often they do that to keep people not so worried. And then in a few days' time, they say, well, actually, no, that's not happening. So I think that, but he's 76, he works incredibly hard. So at one level, he's got energy and wanting to do things. But anything can happen with someone of that age. That's how life is. And cancer is so unexpected and difficult that you don't know what it's going to be doing. It's like a naughty child that actually just, makes you feel very difficult. You see there, his eyes are a bit red, don't you?
Yeah.
But I
mean,
do
Angela,
think
there is a cruel irony, of course, arguably the cruelest irony, that here is a man who waited over 7 decades to fulfill the role that he wanted more than anything. Of course, he didn't want the death of his mother. Of course he didn't. But he waited his whole life to take the role. And you know how much he focused on his health, because he always wanted to live until an old age. And then just months after getting that role that he has been so determined to take, he's struck down by an illness that he probably will never be able to fully shake. And I just think that feels particularly cruel, because he is working hard. He does do a hell of a lot. But of course, you can't operate firing on all cylinders when you're battling cancer. You just can't. And stress is very bad for cancer.
At this point, the divide between William and Meghan is permanent. There's no reconciliation coming. William has made it clear that he's moving forward without them. And honestly, it might be the best decision for the monarchy. Because let's face it, every time Meghan and Harry speak, they only dig themselves deeper into irrelevance. Meanwhile, William? He's growing stronger, gaining more public support and proving himself as a leader. The contrast couldn't be more obvious.
Yes, I think that's why Harry needs to keep away, or they won't see him, because he doesn't want stress. And the Queen doesn't want him to have stress. You want Harry marching in, because he's only got 15 minutes to talk to his father and say, you still haven't said you're sorry to Meghan. I mean, that's not going to work. So he has to be calm and he has to be happy. And I think that you have to look after it. But the thing that he has known is that cancer is in the family. His grandfather died from cancer. Queen Elizabeth died from cancer. It is there. And That's the tragedy, that you are having something that you don't deserve that actually belongs to the family, dreadfully unhappy. But we shall have to see. But I think that it is serious. Even if they say not, it was tagged on to his weekly inspection. I don't think that that's really what happened. I think that he had to go there, or even if he did, something was quite wrong that they had to look at. I think he's very lucky to have come back, because if it was serious, they would have kept him there. But what we have to see is how open it is. It's not, his mother didn't say very much, and his grandfather certainly didn't. And I think this time it is quite a lot because of what happened to Catherine, that people were shouting and thinking up all sorts of things about her, that she was dead and someone else was dressed as she was, which was absolutely hell on earth for her. But so he wanted to say what it was and to be clear of it. But the other comforting thing is that he and Catherine know what it's like to have cancer. They might not have the same one, but they have the feeling that they know they've got it. And I think that they have become I know they've become very, very close together, because they can really talk about it. And lucky people like you and me don't know what it feels like. And so to have someone who understands what you feel, and the times you feel tired or difficult or anything, will be there for you. And I'm sure that they will be, she will comfort him and be very kind. And they're very close now. And so that will be comforting for him.
So the question is, what's next for Meghan and Harry? If Hollywood is already turning against them and the royal family has moved on, where do they go from here? Let me know what you think in the comments. Alright folks, that's it for today's reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more no BS commentary, and drop a comment below. Do you think Prince William's move was a deliberate dig at Meghan? Or is this just another media frenzy? Let's talk about it.